Recently, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver came out and had some comments about the age of anxiety and the level of happiness of the NBA players' impacts of social media. And they handed a microphone to Charles Barkley, who's never shy, and he said this: "I think that's probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard Adam say. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard a commissioner say. These guys are making $20, $30, $40 million a year. They work 6, 7 months a year. They stay in the best hotels in the world. They ain't got no problems. It's totally bogus." Wow, I'm not gonna say what I think, but I will first off pass it off to Faisal, the youngest person on this panel. What are your impressions of what Charles Barkley just said?
I disagree with him. I liked that the commissioner said what he said and how he said it, because again, the perception is all these people have it made. You know, money solves all of life's problems.
Just like you got it made. You got the Brian Espiritu shirt.
Yeah, like everyone sees, oh, I'm on TV. Like this is. It's not always as glamorous as you see from the screen.
Everybody got problems.
It's not like that, right? And like, listen, Instagram was down all day today, and everyone's freaking out. People live on a society of validity right now. People live in a society of needing to be positively reinforced, which I think is very important. And if these young guys are on their phones and on the internet, and all they see is negative surrounding them, I think it hits you, and I think you become miserable reading that over and over again. I think everything the commissioner said was very valid, and I thought it was one of the more progressive comments I've seen a commissioner make, not terrible like Charles said.
I totally disagree with Charles Barkley. I think Charles Barkley probably had an easier time being happy in his NBA glory day, because there is still a sense of privacy. He can still kind of do his thing, and you know, it's a different time. These guys are in the public eye 24/7. You know, people are told they need to be their own brands from a very young age, so that's being managed and handled and curated all the time, you know, it seems like. So you're never able to turn off. So in terms of being anxious and having anxiety, plus having money, and now expectations, plus performance, right? These guys are paid to perform, right? So it's 24/7. It's probably very tough to shut off, right? So I totally, you know, kudos to Adam Silver for addressing that, and much due respect.
Dan, do you think people from older generations have a hard time identifying with what the problems of this generation would be? Like, how can he not see it?
I mean, that's a great question. I don't have my psychotherapy degree to.
I don't know. I think
really,
any human being can answer that.
I mean, look, I'm going to disagree with Charles Barkley too, and I'm going to agree with all you guys. Like, Charles Barkley has said some stupid things in his life as well, and this is probably one of them. And I agree that what Silver said shows some real progress, but your happiness isn't just based on how much money you're making and how well work is going. I mean, those things are all well and good, but there's so much more to wellness and feeling good, and we're only on the cusp of really learning the science behind it. So for Charles Barkley to say that, again, I keep saying this to answer your question, it does show a disconnect. At least with him, I don't want to blame it on his entire generation, but people like our age, we're really just starting to accept that not mental problems, but like your mentality is affected by external things, and sometimes you don't have full control of it.
Now, did Charles Barkley do a disservice to younger players in this league? Because I think everyone looks up to him, and him kind of calling these guys out. Is it not going to stop certain guys from opening up? Is that?
I think Charles is great, and I think he's such a fun personality to have on TV because of how contrarian he is, how open he is, but I don't think he's been overly progressive in his mindset and his stance, right? And when it comes to a guy like Kyrie, again, like everything he says is so micro-analyzed now to the point where it's on every platform. The quotes are used as aggregated things on different social medias and stuff. And so,
and he's part of the problem too, because he's
of course he is. And so that quote becomes
Charles Barkley's job is to sell the league, and he does a great job.
That's it, right?
Kevin Love, DeMar DeRozan, they are role models for what they did last year.
Now, I want to pick up something you just said. You mentioned Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving is a guy who escaped Cleveland and escaped LeBron James' shadow and went to Boston. Got to Boston, and it seems he's running into some of the same problems that he had with the media in Cleveland. Is he the quintessential example of a player who's a superstar struggling to excel in this current climate, Vidal?
I mean, struggling, I don't know if that's the right word.
Well, I mean judging by the clips.
I don't know if he's unhappy. I mean,
he said he is.
Okay, so then
and he has struggled.
I guess he is. I definitely see a young person trying to, figure himself out. In a league where there's been high expectations. Right? Was the number one pick?
Yes.
Yep.
Right. On a franchise, and then you're playing with the best player in the world, and you have some success, and then, I think he's learning in the public eye. I don't think he's tripping up over his feet as bad as people think.
No, I think he's more
he's pretty
concerned.
level-headed.
I think he doesn't like how he had a conversation with Katie, someone's filming it, and he's actually gone off about these things and the ground shrinking beneath him.
And I think those are valid points. I mean, and that's kind of the issue, right? Is these guys, the camera is never off, and I don't think that's fair to anybody. I mean, everyone needs a sense of privacy.
You know what I think?
Everything isn't for
Quickly, because we gotta go to break.
Yeah, you know what I think we forget?
Quickly.
He's 26 years old. He's growing up as well, and so he's growing in front of a camera, which makes it very difficult.
All right, still more to come. We got one more segment. Next, we still got to talk about this whole Rookie of the Year thing, because at the beginning of the year it was a lopsided debate, but this Ice Tray guy, Ice Tray, you like that? Ice Tray? That's what I'm calling him. He's making a conversation, and we'll have that conversation when we return for the fourth quarter on Hangout.